Copyright laws. What are they? What is fair use? I'm sure if you're another content creator, you've had videos that have been flagged or taken down or demonetized. And I just wanted to make this video to chat about some of my personal experience and what you can do to avoid this and just show kind of how gray the area of copyright is.
You're watching the Hostile Takeover podcast.
Now, I'd like to preface this by saying that I respect copyright laws, I respect intellectual property, and being in the music industry as long as I have been, I really feel that it's important to protect these things and to not just have people be able to copy work or use work from an artist or creator for their own personal gain. Now, there are little gray areas in this, and we'll go through these momentarily. But let's just switch over here to exactly what I'm talking about here. So as you can see, I had a live stream taken down. Um, my channel is not affected. It wasn't a copyright strike. It was a content ID claim. Now, the content in question was I was doing a dissemination and educational portion of the halftime Super Bowl. And so, as you can see, the copyright owner is the NFL. And I just want to go into exactly what copyright law is and what fair use is, and why I feel I'm able to use this content for what I'm doing. So, fair dealing is a user's right in copyright law permitting use of or dealing with a copyrighted protected work without permission or payment of copyright royalties. The fair dealing exception of the Copyright Act allows you to use other people's copyrighted protected material for the purpose of research, private study, education, satire, parody, criticism, review, or news reporting, provided that what you do with the work is fair. If your purpose is criticism, review, or news reporting, you must also mention the source and the author of the work for it to be fair dealing. So, I fall under two of these categories, news and education. So, and also I did say where this was. I said it was the NFL Super Bowl. I told the air dates and I explained all that. Now, let's just go into whether something is fair use. So, the purpose of the dealing, is it commercial or research educational? So I would say yes, my video falls under this category. It was educational. I was d- dissecting the show and talking about um, all of the elements of the show. So the set design, the costume design, the choreography, the camera work, and how all of these things tie in together to kind of make the show interesting and cool. And then the character of the dealing, what was done with the work, was it an isolated use or ongoing, repetitive use, how widely was it distributed? So, as I said, the dealing of the work was a dissemination of the Super Bowl halftime show. Um, Now, what was done with the work? It was kind of cut up or paused, and I spoke about all of these different elements that I mentioned before. Um, and then how widely was it distributed? That's very interesting and very gray, I think, as with this whole fair use thing. It's very gray category of law. I put it on YouTube, so really anyone in the world can watch it. So it was really distributed to everyone in the world with an internet connection. But I'm also a small channel. I'm a fairly new creator, so I think I had maybe 10 people on my live stream when I was doing this. So I distributed it to those 10 people, but it's still also up on my past live streams playlist. So it's gotten more views since the live stream. So that's I don't know how widely it was distributed. And then the amount of dealing, how much was copied. So here's another thing. It's very gray. I didn't use the whole work, and I only used the video. I took the audio out for this exact reason. I didn't want a copyright claim on my videos because I want my videos to stay up. So it was not the whole thing. It was portions of it that I felt were useful for people to and for me to discuss, so such as the rigging or the camera work. So I would pause the video when I was talking about the set design or the costume design or the video, and it wasn't the whole thing. So alternatives to dealing with the work. Was the work necessary for the end result? Could a different work have been used instead? This is interesting because, like, I could argue that I'm a news and educational channel, so reporting on the biggest events in live entertainment is newsworthy, is important for education for other people in the industry to see what the biggest budgets are doing to put on shows. Could have different work been used instead? Sure, of course. Like I could have pulled up like a book on rigging and discussed that, and I could have brought up like a book on set design and used that. But you know, it it's whatever. Like it's or I could have just written my own entire thing on it. But being a news and education thing, like you want to talk about current events, you want to talk about these kind of things. The nature of the work. Is there a public interest in its dissemination? Was it previously unpublished? Of course, there's a public interest. I had people on my live stream chatting about it, talking about it, asking questions about it. I think everyone I talk to, being in live entertainment, everyone's always interested in how we do things, um, how we pull it off. All sorts of questions are asked. Mostly it's just like, who have you met? But like a lot of people are very interested in how shows are put on and the behind the scenes thing. That's why you see like, DVDs having all these behind the scenes, how it's made kind of things. Was it previously unpublished? I'm not sure. I haven't seen every published thing on this kind of subject, but I can say that when I go on YouTube and search Super Bowl halftime, a lot of people aren't talking about like the technical elements and how it pertains to an event industry professional who is like maybe a show producer or like a technician of like audio or lighting or staging or rigging, and how it pertains to this copyrighted work. It's mostly like critiques on like maybe how they feel about it or whatever, just a personal opinion. So it's if it may not be previously unpublished kind of video, but it's I don't think there's many people doing what I'm doing. And then the effect on the dealing of the original work. Do, does the use compete with the market of the original work? So absolutely not. I'm a news and educational podcast. The NFL is a sports entertainment entity. Um, I'm not competing with them. I'm not taking ticket sales away. If anything, I'm generating more interest into what they're doing and putting their work in front of people who may not be sports fans. Because, like I said, I'm a music and entertainment podcast, and you know, a lot of people in music aren't really sports fans, and a lot of people in theater are not really sports fans. So no, it absolutely does not. Um, Now, the last thing here I'm going to mention, like I can go through this whole thing, but um, it is not necessary that your use satisfy every one of these factors, meaning the top factors there that I went over. And no one factor is determinative by itself in assessing whether your use is fair. A court would look at those factors as a whole to determine it. On balance, your use is fair. Now, I have disputed this copyright claim because, you know, it's not just one of these things that, I was like, my work is educational. What was done with the work? Was it isolated? Yes, it was isolated. I clipped it. I took the music out. The amount of the dealing, again, clipped it, took the music out, used short things. Alternatives, no, because I was reporting on that specific thing. I needed to use that specific work. And then the nature of the work, it was different than sports entertainment. It was news and information. And then the effect of the dealing with the work. So I fall under all of these categories, and yes, they could be disputed. But I always had copyright laws in mind when I'm making content. So I've read this before. I've read other pieces of work. This is from Simon Fraser University. I think Simon Fraser University. Yeah, Simon Fraser University. So, and this video could technically be copyright because I am using Simon Fraser's things to talk about the NFL things. So, I could have taken this and typed it out myself, but that's still copyright because but this is law. This is, it's whatever. This video could get taken down for copyright too. That's how gray the copyright area is, and it's a case by case basis. So, if you're a content creator and you've had a copyright claim, and the general idea of your content was not to just take that content and use it as your own, but to transform it and dissect it or critique it, you have some standing to dispute these claims. So, when you're disputing these claims, go to a web page like this, copy and paste all of those rules, and just underneath them say, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. And then you can make the claim, and you can dispute it. And then if it still doesn't go, you can then escalate it further if you so wish. I'll keep everybody posted on my personal dispute. We'll see how it works. It's up against the NFL, so honestly, I think they'll just, not read. They probably won't even read my dispute in any kind of meaningful way. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep everybody informed. But that is copyright use and fair use. So if you have any questions about copyright laws or comments, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'll try to answer your questions. Have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. I'll be doing another live stream this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will roll into my next episode, which will be with Ace Piva from Over the Bridge, which is a health and well-being not-for-profit organization, and they study how that pertains to music, and they do all sorts of great work with musicians who are maybe struggle with addictions or mental health, and they kind of help them along the way when they're touring. It's really interesting stuff. It's a great podcast. I had a lot of fun recording it the other week, so tune into that, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody.
You're watching the Hostile Takeover podcast.